Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the SATS Show, your beginner-friendly guide to saving in Bitcoin. All right. If you guys are watching the politics going on right now with the Speaker of the House, Bitcoin doesn't need a speaker, right? Don't get distracted with that stuff. We don't need a speaker. Bitcoin doesn't care who's in power. It's not a Republican or Democrat thing. It's just money, okay? It's money that they can't argue over who gets to change the rules on you, okay? They're picking a different speaker, or they're trying to get a different speaker in the House or whatever, because they're trying to figure out who's best amongst them to control the power of that printer, okay? Or to guide who gets to have access to the printer, to the money printer that the government has, right? But we shouldn't care about that money printer. What we care about is that it doesn't matter who's in power, if it's a Democrat or a Republican or anybody else, they're going to continue to use that privilege of printing money to debase your money, to debase your savings, so that they can continue to do things without asking the voters for permission. Okay, that's how they do it. Okay, they steal your future prosperity by inflation. All right, so let's get the show started by jumping into our first segment, which is the SAT strength. All right, so for today's SAT strength, you can buy 3,648 Satoshis for a single dollar. So $1 will get you, at the current price of Bitcoin, 3,648 Satoshis. And why is that important? It's important because when you're buying Bitcoin, you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin at once. You can buy fractions of a Bitcoin. A fraction of a Bitcoin is called a Satoshi, and we call it a SAT for short. If you can accumulate 100 million SATs, that's equivalent to one whole Bitcoin. Just like 100 cents, 100 pennies is equivalent to $1. Okay? When you're stacking SATs, you are in essence stacking Bitcoin. Okay? It's just not a whole Bitcoin yet. Okay? So keep stacking, because saving in Bitcoin shields your savings from inflation. Oh. There we go. All right. So that's what we have for the SAT recap. Not SAT recap. That was the SAT strength. All right. So now let's jump into the next segment of the show, which I like to call. Oops. Gosh, I keep flipping that. Why we stack. It's just a little motivation to help you get started, help you understand the beginnings of what Bitcoin is for. And Bitcoin is for everybody, okay? It's for and it's for everyone that wants to save the value of their hard work. You're exchanging your time on this earth for an asset that should be able to hold the value of it, so that you can use it in other transactions, right? So you can have you're trading the value of your life for financial value that you can use in other parts of life, right? So when you do that and you get paid in dollars and you save in dollars or any other government currency, you continue to be taxed on that, even though you've already paid income tax. You continue to get taxed in a sneaky way via a process called inflation. Okay? As the money supply increases, as the government continues to print more money, the money in your bank account loses purchasing power. Okay? And therefore, money that you save now, in about 7 years, will only be able to buy you about half the things you could buy with it now, right? So it loses about 50% of its value at the current inflation rate, which is about 10%. Don't believe them when they tell you it's about 4%. What up, Leonard? Choo! Don't believe them when they tell you it's about 10%. Sorry, when they tell you it's about 4%, 2%, their goal is 2%. Even if they were able to hit an inflation rate of 2%, that would just mean that your money would lose half of its value in 30 years instead of 7 years. Okay, so why is inflation? Why is a 2% inflation even acceptable? Right? I never voted for that. I never voted that my money be devalued at 2% a year. Right? I think a 2% inflation rate is ridiculous. Right? And even if we were there, it would if we were at 2%, they're still stealing from you. They're just not stealing from you as fast as they are stealing from you now, right? Because the true inflation these days is something closer to, I would say, 10%, right? But they just said it dropped by 4%, right, Leonard? That's what they said, dude. That's what they said. But yeah, so they said inflation dropped by 4%, but that's from probably 8% that they were claiming before, right? So okay, we dropped down by 8%. We're still at 4%, right? You can say any way you want. You can say, oh, inflation. Let's say inflation was at 12%, and instead of saying what that inflation is 8%, they'll say inflation dropped by 4%, right? That's just how they do. They manipulate the words and they try to trick you. They say, oh, last year inflation was 12%, or last month, or whatever you want to say it. Last year inflation was 12%. If we say it dropped to 8%, still sounds kind of high. Why don't we say it dropped 4% instead, right? Because 4% sounds smaller than 8%, right? They just make stuff trying to, yep. They just make stuff up trying to make people happy. Exactly, Leonard. They just want to keep you content enough that you don't riot, right? I'm not condoning riots. Just saying that it's just all about manipulating the mindset of the majority of people. Okay, don't get manipulated. You know, in your heart that when you go to the gas station, that gas ain't cheaper than it was last month, right? The gas keeps going up, right? I know. Like I buy my kids drink milk, so I buy milk every week or two, right? Or sometimes even twice a week, depending on how thirsty they get for milk, right? And the price of milk doesn't go down, right? The price of milk is always going up, right? It's something that takes work to do. You can't just go make milk out of thin air like they try to do, like with fake milk, right? You can make almond milk, soy milk. That's not milk. It's just something that they're calling milk to replace it with, to take the place of milk that is actually hard to make, because there's you have to have an animal involved to raise cattle, right? To raise it and all that stuff and get the milk out. So that takes actual labor. It's harder to fudge the number on things that actually take labor to create, like milk, right? So if you can make something that is similar to milk, but it's going to take less work to actually make it, but it's similar enough to the real thing, you can charge close to the same price as the real thing, but not have to put in so much work to make it, so you have more profits, right? So that's a way for them to fleece you, basically. It's another fleece, right? It's just another way. Instead of saying, oh, we can make a milk like substance cheaper, let's pass on those savings to the people that need milk, right? They're like, no. People are willing to pay this much for real milk. Let's just lower it just enough to make it palatable, and we're gonna take that profit, right? There's stuff in dairy industry that you wouldn't believe. Exactly. But anyway, the reason I'm talking about milk today is because I just bought some milk and I decided to start not another segment specifically, but just like something cool to take note of, that I'm gonna start taking note of. I'm gonna start cataloging or just keeping track of the price of milk. And I'm not talking about the price of milk that I see somewhere on the internet or whatever, right? I'm talking about my actual receipts, okay? I'm talking about what I pay for milk each week or two. What up, Brian? Let's go. Get out of here with shit, Brian. We don't poop coin in here, Brian. But you can stay in here. What up? Brian, do you have a Lightning wallet yet? I'll send you 1,000 SATS free of charge. Anyway, So before we jump into the into the stack recap, let's do a new thing that I'm keeping track of now. So I started another spreadsheet in along with our buying stats spreadsheet, and we're doing the price of milk or the price of a good over time. I thought about doing milk and bread since I always buy the same kind of bread. Let's do milk and bread. Why not? Okay, I'm gonna do. So this is the same date. I got separate receipts for each thing. Milk and bread. Okay, bread was 4.49. Let's see. I'm trying to learn how to make charts on this thing too. So that's the price of milk and the price of bread the last time I bought it, which was yesterday. Okay. So okay, there we go. Okay, so that's 4.49, and this way, we can see what happens to the price of goods over time relative to 16,413. Okay, cool. That's how many satoshis we paid for it. Okay, all right, there it is. That's how many satoshis. That's how many sats we paid for it. Ooh, carne asada burrito. That's a good one. Next time I get a carne asada burrito, Brian, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, we'll do carne asada burrito. But right now, I just have receipts for these two things. I'm gonna keep adding things to here, okay? And the whole thing we're trying to do is just get enough information so that I can track and make a chart that's showing the price of a certain good over time. And I'll have two lines. One line will be the price of that good in dollars, and one line will be the price of that good in satoshis. Okay, and what I'm expecting to see is the price of a thing goes up in dollar value, but it goes down in satoshi value. Okay, all right. I got a video on the dairy industry on the whole Got Milk campaign. Interesting. All right, so that is what we got for the why we stack. Let's jump back in here and go into the next segment of the show, which is stack recap. All right, we're recapping our current position on the show since we started buying back in May. We started at $5 a month, $5 a day, Monday through Friday, and then we upped it to $10 a day, Monday through Friday. And the rule is, if the price of Bitcoin drops below our current average buy price, we will buy a double stack. If it's above, we'll only buy $10 worth. So today, the price of Bitcoin is $27,368, and our average buy price is $27,991. The price of Bitcoin is below our average buy price. So today, we will be doing a double stack. A double stack indeed. Double stack. That's what we're doing. Now that you know what's happening, this is how many satoshis we have in the show account. This is how many Bitcoin you have in the show account. It's the same number. You just take the decimal point, move it over to the right 8 times, and you'll have the satoshi value of your Bitcoin. So you have 0.04674183 Bitcoin. It's currently, we paid $1,299.81, and it's currently worth $1,279.05. So we're at a 1.6% loss, but it's okay because we don't care about the loss here or the gain. We care about holding more sats. Okay, since the intention of this Satoshi stack is not to sell it. Okay, why would we sell the most what do you call it? Scarce asset for something not so scarce for the dollar. Okay, we want to collect as many of the scarce assets as we can, and that's Bitcoin, that's Satoshis, and then in the future we can take loans against it if we need to for our regular life stuff. Okay, but right now we're in the setup stage. So today it's 10/3/23, and we continue with our plan of stacking sats And that's what we're gonna do today. So let's jump into the next segment of the show with Jews. It's time to stack some SATS. Kind of salad burritos after this. Woo! Okay, so as you guys know, I like to stack SATS on Swan Bitcoin. Here it is. Buy some SATS. We're doing a 20 stack today, right? Because the price of Bitcoin is below our average buy price. So we're doing a double. $20 worth of Bitcoin. Let me preview this buy. Okay. Get my notes. Bring it back to the browser. Put my notes in my show notes page over here. Today is episode 77. Dang. There it is. All right, here we go. Cut the music. Drum roll, please. We're buying $20 worth of Bitcoin. It's going to cost us 20 cents. How many Satoshis will we get to add to our stack today? Stay tuned to find out. Here we go. It's about to happen. And just like that, we've stacked some SATS. Okay. So, we stacked some SATS. Let's go into our spreadsheet and update it with the latest purchase. Here we go. We bought Bitcoin at 27,414. 27,414. We spent $20.20. And we got 0.0007295572955 Bitcoin. Now we're going to convert that to Satoshis. All right. All right, so our true average buy price is about 27,556, and we gained 72,955 Satoshis. Okay, for a grand total of 4.7 million Satoshis. We're SAT millionaires. We've been SAT millionaires for a while. We're SAT multi-millionaires now. Okay. It's wild to think about it, right? But that's what we got to do. We got to stack some SATs. That's what's going on. And now that we've stacked, turn on some chill music and jump into the Q&A section. All right. Any questions? Put them in the chat. Did you go to the store today, Leonard? I forgot to change my subscriber count back here. Leonard says the carne asada burrito has tripled in price since I started buying them. Yeah, dude. Oh, okay, cool. Just walking in the house from running for Samara's like, very nice. Yeah, dude, that's cool. So, oh, got it. Very cool. All right, so I think that's all I got for you guys today. We're gonna continue to watch the price of goods. I'm gonna go have a burrito today. I'm gonna go buy a burrito my way. Beans, cheese, sour cream only. Right? Carne asada, beans, cheese, and sour cream. That's it. Nothing else. Nothing more. No salsa, no pico, no guacamole, nothing. Beans, cheese, sour cream. Only. But you can't eat it right away. You gotta wait at least 10 minutes after you get it. Because you gotta let that cheese and that sour cream fuse into a, like with the bean sauce too. It's gotta fuse. You gotta give it a minute. Okay. All right. We ain't hungry. I'm going to get a burrito right. I'm going to get a burrito right now. I'm going to go and I'll come back home and update the spreadsheet, and we'll know how many Satoshis I paid for that burrito. Okay. The goal here, guys, is to start thinking in Satoshis. Okay. Start thinking in terms of Satoshis. When you see that it's costing you less and less Satoshis to buy things, it'll be more evident that the dollar is depreciating faster than you think. Okay. So remember, try to think of when you buy things. Try to think of it as in how many Satoshis is it going to cost me, right? And then you can decide, well, should I just buy Satoshis instead, or should I buy the thing that I'm going to buy? But you need food, right? But still, it's nice it's good to think of it that way, because if the more sats you save, as the price of things drop relative to as the price of things drop, if you think of it in terms of Satoshis, then what's happening? Well, your savings, the money that you're saving in Bitcoin, the money that's in Satoshis, is getting stronger and can buy you more things as you hold it, right? So that's kind of like it's the flip side, right? I've been telling you guys from a different angle, from the dollar is stealing from you and the dollar is losing purchasing power. Yeah, that's fine, right? It's losing purchasing power. That's one way to look at it. But the other way of looking at it is your Bitcoin is gaining purchasing power, right? You're gaining purchasing power, right? I know it's just a semantic, I guess, but some people get more motivated by the idea of losing something they already have, right? More so than by the idea of gaining something, right? But if you save in Bitcoin, you're not losing your purchasing power. You're gaining purchasing power, right? So it's doing the opposite, and you don't have to do anything, and you don't have to do anything else but hold Bitcoin. That's it. That's all you got to do. You don't have to go buy some Bitcoin and then go to college and then get some kind of degree or go get an extra job. No, just buy the Bitcoin, save in SATS, save in Bitcoin, and that's it. Your next task is to get more Bitcoin, and your next task is to get more Bitcoin, right? Because you don't have to do anything else for that Bitcoin that you have in your wallet to go up in value. All you gotta do is try to accumulate as much as you can, because the government's gonna do a job. The government's gonna be doing the job for you already. Okay, the government's already gonna be doing the job for you. Okay, they're gonna be in the background, continuing to inflate the money and print it out of existence. And while they're doing that, come on, I can't see my debt clock. Come on. Oh, there it is. Oh. While they're inflating the dollar and stealing the wealth from everybody in the at this point the planet, because a lot of other countries also use the dollar as a reserve currency. While they're stealing money from everybody else, while they're stealing everybody's money, they're going to be working they're working for you now, because your value is saved in Bitcoin, right? So the purchasing power of your sats goes up relative to the purchasing power of the dollar going down, right? And again, they're doing all the work for you. You don't have to do anything else to get wealthy but save in sats. That's it. It's super easy. Okay? All right. That said, not financial advice. You get to choose when you actually decide to buy Bitcoin or not. You get to choose whether you want to wait until those ETFs get approved and all the big money gets into it and they pump the price from here to infinity, and then instead of getting 3,400 sats per dollar, wherever it was, you can go buy it when you can only get 1,000 sats per dollar, or you can go back and buy it when Bitcoin hits $1 million, and you can only get 1 sat for 1 penny. You get $100. You take $1 and you get 100 sats instead of getting 3,662 sats for $1 right now, right? I'm not going to tell you to go buy right now, right? I'm not going to tell you to sell your Bitcoin. I'm not going to tell you any financial advice. I'm just going to tell you that you get to choose when you buy Bitcoin, right? You get to choose if you want to buy Bitcoin now at 3,662 sats per dollar, or if you want to buy it when Bitcoin hits $1 million at 100 sats per dollar. Okay, you can decide that. Okay, Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Right? You can decide when you want to. Sorry, when you want to. When you want to secure your financial future, right? You can decide that. I'm not gonna decide for you. You need to decide that for yourself. All right. So, thanks again for tuning in, Brian, Leonard. Let's go, boys. Glad you're here. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the SATS show, 12:15 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 3:15 Eastern. If you're watching the replay, want to say hello in the chat. So I'll shout you out next episode. All right. Have a good night, guys, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Later. SATS. SATS. The dollar's bad for your. No, is it? Smoking is bad for your health, and the dollar is bad for your wealth.